All right, everybody, are you guys ready to take off for today and get into our first presenter?
Yeah, I was going to make a suggestion, Neil,
Yeah,
that
do it.
because you've been, removed from the social media, Facebook and Instagram, and
Mm-hmm.
because there's like thousands of us, because you have this Portal to Ascension army,
Yeah.
what we should all do is take the Portal to Ascension URL and share it to all of our social medias, Facebooks, groups, personal profiles, pages on Instagram and any other social media that you belong to. Let's just blitz the entire system with portaltoascension.org and teach Facebook a lesson.
Let's do it. And I'm going to
Yeah, let's
post
do
the
that.
YouTube link right now in the chat room. Were you talking about YouTube in particular
No, I'm
or
talking about
the website?
portaltoascension.org, right? Like your website. We should just blitz social media with that because they're denying you access to their, we have access. So I think that we all, the entire Portal to Ascension army should just blitz Facebook with
I
portaltoascension.org.
agree.
Yeah, let's do that today and teach Facebook a lesson. Let's do that tomorrow and the day after, and then until the fall when we do this conference again.
Definitely. So yes, if what Omar said, go ahead and share. If you can share our website as much as possible, that would be amazing. Just to get it out to as many people, especially because we're launching a new website pretty soon, and we want to get as many people on there. I also have posted my Clubhouse in there, and I'll talk about social media and my detox from social media and my re-entrance into social media a little later today because there's a lot of fun information there. So join me on Clubhouse at Essential Portal. And no, I do not. I'm not saying go to YouTube and leave the Zoom room. I'm saying if you have Facebook, you can just go to Facebook or some social media, whatever you have, and share the YouTube link so your other friends can come and join us on YouTube as well. And the people on YouTube right now, if you could do that, the same thing as well, and share it to everyone, that'd be great. Okay.
And also folks on Facebook that are watching, share it, blitz it.
Let's get this out to the world. All right. So let's do this, everybody. Joan, I was going to read from your bio, but your bio's in first person, and I would have to change it in the moment in first person. So I'm not going to read from your bio because I was going to do bio and then me, but I'm just going to do specifically me now. Okay. Just
Okay.
going to leave myself. So everybody, I'm extremely excited right now to introduce you to Joan. She can probably tell you a bit about her history in regards to her career with all this conscious awareness that she's been putting out there. But I'll tell you about my experience. My wife and I met her around 2012, 2011-ish. And we became friends in that moment, but over a few years, our relationship started evolving. And at this point in life, she's become one of the closest people to us, not only a support of Portal to Ascension and a support of my wife and myself's relationship, but also giving advice and being there whenever we really need her. Plus, her information that she shares is so empowering. The way she hosts, when she MCs with individuals and does interviews, it's just so present and so grounded. And then her awareness in regards to spiritual development and her connection to the angelic kingdom, her artwork as an artist, drawing portals to the different realms, including different angels. She's really multifaceted and continues to really not at this point I'm not surprised, but for lack of a better term, continues to surprise me because there's always more and more that she's coming out with. But I really at this point, most of my events that we do like this, I really can't see it occurring without Joan to be a part of it. Not only does she bring this beautiful energy there, but just our dynamic and the way we communicate with each other is really, I honor that quite substantially. So everybody, I'm excited to introduce you to my wife and myself, Soul and myself's really good friend, Joan of Angels.
Wow. Okay, this is really exciting. Let me change my view right here so I can actually see myself. Hello, everyone. Greetings from the Desert Heart Sanctuary, where I paint angels, divine beings, and talk ascension, talk out of the body. I want to introduce you first to my companion here, Yvonne. He recently has told me that I'm not to have any more appearances without him. He is the brains behind us. I guess I get the downloads, but he has the wisdom and the information. And he's been with me ever since I met Neil in 2012 at his Portal to Ascension conference. And this guy came home with me. He's changed my life. He is a tall white, but as you notice, he's in gold because he's an ambassador. His name is Yvonne. Okay, thank you very much. And that's enough for Avon. So first, let's call on the light. I'm the first speaker here. I want to just bring in the highest energy if possible. Take a deep breath with me. That's right. And let it all out. And let's just all center together. Dearest angels, departed loved ones, our spiritual team, our guides, the master beings, the spirit, the star beings, all of those who are here today. So excited that we are getting to raise our vibrations to be with them and ask us to continue in our upward ascension in understanding and walking more towards the light. So guys, my name is Joan of Angels. I haven't always been Joan of Angels. I'm also Dr. Joan Hangarter, a chiropractor for 42 years. And so I'm bringing you wisdom of 42 years of helping and healing humanity, really, of helping each and every one of us step into our highest potential. And so I act as a guide. I call myself an Ascension Master Trainer. That's what my guides told me a few years ago on New Year's Eve, that I am an Ascension Master Oracle. And what does that mean? I help all of you younger ones in particular get to your highest level to clear away everything that stands in your way of achieving mastery this lifetime, not next lifetime, but this lifetime. So we're so grateful for your presence and so grateful for this opportunity to share with you some wisdom that Yvonne said to me last night was very necessary. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Here we go. Far out. Okay, it's so weird. It has to, there. Okay, so here we go, guys. So to be one of the chosen ones, we must choose. In 2013, at one of the bottom moments of my life, and I was literally on my hands and knees begging Spirit, how am I going to redeem myself? How am I going to do this work that I came here to do, this vision that I've had, that I'm here to heal and inspire the planet, that I'm here to actually raise the vibratory frequency of every single soul on this planet before I leave. And that's a commitment that I made. And it was like, it wasn't happening. And it was like, how am I going to do this? And it was Halloween night, 2013. And I had a little painting party at my house. And one of my friends said, Joan, paint angels. And I said, absolutely not. I can't paint faces. And she said, you might want to feel into it. And before you know it, not only was I painting angels, but my guide said to me, will you paint 33 angels in 30 days? And I said, no. Never say no to your guides. But it was like, oh my God, that's so much work. Fortunately for me, they asked me again, Joan, paint 33 angels in 30 days. And at that moment, I understood that if I listened to the voice of Spirit without questioning, without asking what's going to happen after, that my life would change. And sure enough, when I finished the 33 angels and they were up on the wall in the angel portal, the angel loft, a book fell off the bookshelf, and two different pages. The first one was, your call for angelic assistance has been heard. And the second one was, to be one of the chosen ones, we must choose. And so today's presentation is about this choosing. What does that mean? So I know I don't have to tell you this, but we are still in that dark night of the soul. The last 12, 18 months, it seems like forever, we know what's going on. There's been a huge shift that is forcing each and every one of us to go inside to that place where truth resides, to that place where we know who we are and what we came here to do. So the grand initiation is, we are in this cocoon. COVID, corona, it means light going viral. And we are in this cocoon where we have had an opportunity to decide which way we are going to go. Are we going to step into our highest frequencies, our leadership, what we came here to do this lifetime, or are we going to go the other way? Are we going to allow fear fear of getting a disease or fear of whatever to take over. So every person has to choose right now. There is no middle ground. And even choosing, listen, you choose to take the vaccine or you don't. That's the bottom line of a choice. You choose to wear a mask or you don't. You choose to step into your highest power and be that leader that you came here to do, or you don't. So last summer, I went into a little bit of a funk and I heard this voice loud and clear. And when my guides speak, they speak to me on the right over here. And they said the following. They said, Joan, right now you're the only Joan of Angels on the planet. And it's true. If you put Joan of Angels in, there's me. There's a Joan of the Angels. There's a Joan of Arc, of course, but not Joan of Angels. And they said to me, but you, to be one of the chosen ones, you must use what you've been given or you will lose it. And I say this to each and every one of us too. Us, because I'm included in this. So they said to me, you know, to be where you want to be, you have to use these gifts, these skills. And that was like a wake-up call. So consider today our wake-up call. Ascension is all about how we personally, in the end, choose to handle that dark night of the soul. So I found this and I thought this was really true. COVID really just made people think for themselves. This has been the most amazing initiation on our planet. It's happening globally. We each have more of an opportunity to either be pushed over the edge into craziness or into rigidity, fear. Those are what I call the non-magical people, the muggles, or stepping into your own power, as I've been saying. So it's been forcing people to deteriorate or to grow. Now, what is this spiritual ascension? So the point of this presentation is to remind each and every one of you that you have these tools for mastery inside of you. You have come down here encoded with a special mission. You know, you have your own activation codes, those moments of your awakening, but you also have your mission and all the tools that you need to do this mission, which I think is pretty cool. It's only a matter of knowing what is in your Ascension toolkit. Now, this is very, very important because we're talking about raising vibratory frequencies. Now, when each person on the planet knows their own vibration, their own tone, 8 billion, 7.5 billion of us, then Earth will resonate at its own harmony. We will hear the soul orchestra of Earth, of which we are a part of, rising. So what does it take to get 7.5 or 8 billion people awakened to their own vibrational frequency? Each and every one of you has a part to play in this. And as we go through this, I'm going to share a little bit about my own story, okay? So a few years ago, it was 2016, and I was in a plant medicine ceremony, and I now do plant medicine shows, but it was a plant medicine ceremony, and I was on mushrooms and ayahuasca, and I was having quite an epiphany. And in the corner of the room was a band of angels. And they said about me laying down there, kind of in my little fetal position, they said, she's a member of the invisible tribe. And the other one said, well, she's about to become visible. And the next thing I know, I was in India, and I was crawling around in the gutter. People literally were walking by me, walking over me. They didn't even see me. And I was in the gutter. Well, I guess I was becoming visible. I had a copper tin or a tin can in my hand and some tarot cards on it and a couple of copper coins. And I was running after people going, don't you know who I am? don't you know who I am? And it was this excruciating pain that at that time I had become suddenly an invisible one. And I had woken up to this horrific story of being one of the untouchable ones in India. Now, years later, I met a man from India, a very high being from India, and I told him this story. And he took my hand and he said, Joan, you need to know that that is a story of your redemption. You had been a renowned Brahmin in India, very renowned. You were on the top tier. You understand what that means? The top tier of religious leaders, religious authorities in our country. Had you passed at that stage, you would have become one of the ascended ones, one of the gods. He said, but no, you had a fall. And that fall was what caused you to awaken immediately, because you were struck down and immediately woke up as an untouchable one. And the crime that I had committed was the crime of ego, was the crime of thinking that I was better than all of those people. Look at me. I'm a renowned Brahmin. I could take you to the kingdom of heavens. I lost that ability, my humanness, and I lost it all. And I lost it all, by the way, until this lifetime, when in 2016, I was shown that in that plant medicine ceremony. And a few months later, I was gifted this high being who explained to me how I had lost my ascension potential. I had closed my heart. I had lost that feeling of joy. Now, ascension is really hard to define, but you know you're in it when you're in that bliss where your heart is singing with such happiness, with such joy, that you and the planet, you and the world are one. And those moments are not always everyday moments. Those moments could be like the moment I met my second husband, Peter Hangarter. Okay, I'm still Joan Hangarter in that professional world. When I met him, I was at a seminar, and I saw this choir-looking boy. I was not brought up Catholic, so he looked like a choir boy to me. I saw this choir boy man out of the corner of my eye, and I said, oh, he's not my type, and I walked up past him. But when I came back and I caught his eye again, I heard the Hallelujah chorus. Yep, right there at a hotel in San Francisco, very crowded. My girlfriend's with me, and I stop and I stare at this man who I don't know. I hear the Hallelujah chorus singing in my head. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. And I knew that I was going to marry him. Yep. And that is exactly what happened. So that is that feeling of overwhelming gratitude and happiness and joy. And when that happens to you, you know that you're on the right path. So there is no middle path anymore. You're either going to go for ascension or you're not. Meaning that this ascension is going to happen with or without you. Do you want to be with it or do you want to be without it? And what is it going to take for us to up our game, to be that person, to be that being of so whom we claim? For the mastery of spirit is our destiny. Each and every one of you on this show, on this Portal to Ascension conference is part of this ascension, and we're going together. So the splitting of humanity, yes, I call it the muggles or the non-muggles, the magical people or the ones who won't change, the ones who are insisting on being at the lowest vibratory frequency. You have encoded in you your mission, your message, your tools, and guys, today is the day to bring them out and to make your commitment that this is a day you are committing to your highest purpose. You are committing to be that who you know that you are, that who you came with an open heart to be. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, planet Earth is the hardest planet there is. And I like to tell people that we as volunteers, because I know all of you are volunteers or walk-ins, you chose to be here. But as part of choosing to be here, we also get to choose in every moment what are the vibrations that we are going to choose to live in. Now, years ago in 1975, I first moved to Los Angeles from New York. I had gotten my master's in counseling. I'd had a very bad breakup, and the only option for me was to move to Los Angeles, to move into an ashram, a spiritual community, with a teacher by the name of John Rogers. And I was ecstatic. I was a nice Jewish princess who knew nothing about soul travel, knew nothing about extraterrestrials and star beings and meditation to get to the heavenly realm. So I was quite taken. I became a minister and I became an initiate until 1979 or 1980, right when I was graduating chiropractic school and when I was getting ready to move up to Northern California. And I had an opportunity to meet with some of John Rogers' staff and do some healings. And I realized, without ever being told, that John Roger was suddenly acting like a jealous lover to one of his staff members who had fallen in love with a woman, believe it or not, outside of the ministry. Well, she was in the movement, but she wasn't in John Rogers' inner circle for sure. And John Roger turned into a raging, angry, jealous lover. Now, no one said those words to me. I never need to know that. I'm an intuitive. I pick it up because I know. And that's what makes me such a good oracle. I know. I see little pictures. And I knew at that moment. And so in 1980, when I got up here to San Francisco, I broke away from my spiritual teacher. Now, I had been an initiate, so that means you have a soul contract with your teacher that goes from past life, this life, future lives. It goes beyond time. It's a forever commitment. I broke this commitment, and I sent him a letter, and what I got back was a box this big. And as an initiate and a minister, you had to send monthly reports about your ministry, your connection with spirit, how well you're doing, right? And I'd had a tough time. I was in chiropractic school. It wasn't the best of my years, but in the corner of every page in red, he would circle things and he'd highlight something like, see what a loser she is. And then somewhere else, she will never make it. Loser. I guess that really still stuck. So the whole thing he sent me back in this, he went through every single letter and he made the most horrible comments, okay? So I had to, of course, burn all that. It was quite a shock to my system. Quite a shock. Now, 3 or 4 years later, what starts to come out, now I'm no longer involved, is that it turns out that John Roger had been accused of molesting many members of his staff, promising them spiritual favors in exchange for allowing them to be raped or drugged, etc., in exchange for spiritual favors. I tell you this because many spiritual teachers or many people don't even know when they slip out of that harmony. I've seen it in other spiritual teachers. I've volunteered with one wonderful teacher. His teachings are so profound. He stands up there and he does puja ceremonies, meditations to the divine, and you know that you're in the heavenly realms until you hear him berating his staff and calling them names. And I point this out because this too gets in the way of our ascension. Dolores Cannon says it best. She says, we influence, we come to help, we do it by our positive vibrations. The negative ones, we know that, hold us back. The positive ones lift us up. I'm asking, and Yvonne said to me, he was very clear. He said, Joan, we have all these wonderful people on the conference who are going to talk about the Galactic Conference, the Galactic Councils, the Ascension process, all of the extraterrestrials, the star beings. He says, you are going to talk about what goes on in your heart as we transition as humans with fifth dimensional and beyond consciousnesses, as we transition into the angelic realms, of which I'm going to be talking about all next week on Friday. I have a 2-hour conference. Neil will show it in a few minutes, where we're going to talk about calling the angel brigade, stepping into your high angelic frequencies and raising the vibrations of your third dimensional human bodies. Yes. Okay. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because this is where we come from. We come from that sense of shame. When these feelings come in, okay, that fear, that desire, feeling disappointed, that anger, or that sense of pride, which managed to force me off that wheel of incarnation where I could have been one of the great ones, and I turned out now to have gone through my own trials to reach this point. But he said to me, you know what, the good news, Joan, is it's 2016, because that's what it is. He says, you're here in America. You're painting angels. You've just had visitations with Krishna. You have been reborn. And that is what I'm telling all of you too. Look at how you have stepped up and gone beyond your lower frequency, three-dimensional lower vibration, to get to even that place of courage, which is the turning point. Because it takes courage. And when those angels came to me in 2013 and they said, paint 33 of us, put us on canvases, and then we'll tell you now, they brought me up from shame, from guilt, from fear, all the way up to the next levels. And of course, this is where we want to be, and this is what I want to talk to. Each of us has that ability to be part of the solution on the planet. When you raise your own personal vibrations, your own personal vibrational frequency, when you do everything you can to do that, then you move your energy from trust and optimism. I'm going to show you a little bit better one if you can see it. I love this. I like it better this way. If we can move from courage to neutrality, to a willingness to acceptance, to love, to peace, to joy, and enlightenment, we have an ability to change the entire planet. Now, Yvonne reminded me last night that we do these meditations where we send our roots down the center of the earth and our antenna up to the heavens. These are amazing meditations so that we can connect and align. But it's more than just amazing meditations, because when we do that, we can raise our vibratory frequency from wherever we are up to that 700. So sitting here with me now, imagine your roots going down to the center of the earth. Imagine your antenna going up to the heaven, and then imagining an etheric electromagnetic grid that goes from all of those antennas around the planet where each and every one of you are, where we are, all thousands of us that are going to be listening to this, hundreds of thousands of us, with our guides and our angels and the star beings and the ascended ones. We are creating a grid sticking out of the earth, high 700 vibrational grid that can, because of our energy here today, collectively send a grid around that planet of 700. Why is that important? Guys, only 15% of the world is above 200. Do you realize that? That means 85, okay, only, like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? We have a lot of work to do, okay? We have a lot of work to do. 12 of us, okay? Oh, we'll start. One individual at just level 300, and I know all of you are at least 300. We counterbalance 90,000 individuals. We get up to 400, 400,000, 500, 750,000. But look, if we get up to 700 today, if we do a little process where we raise that vibratory frequency up to 700, we will counterbalance today 70 million individuals that are below 200 who are game. And I know all of you are going to raise your hand. So right now with me, again, sending those roots down. I'm speaking fast because I know we have a lot of other speakers. Send those roots down here and up here. And imagining now that they are going around that planet. Now, let me show you how to do that, okay? I call it the discernment scale. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is so easy, you could do it wherever you are. You imagine a horizontal line. You have a clock hand. To the left is 0, half dead, all dead, okay? Moving up, 3 is about courage, 5 is sort of in the middle, 10 is turned on fire, high vibrational, and it is that highest frequency. So right now, even to make it easier, I even gave you a dial. You can imagine turning that dial up all together now. So it gets up to that 10 or up to that 700 in this languaging here. And when we turn that on and we put little angel clips to hold it in place, and now we envision that earth and us circling that earth from those grids. My grid is connecting to your grid, connecting to Neil's grid, connecting all around this planet, infusing that planet at 700. We are now impacting 70 million souls. And so it is. And so it is. Now, before I finish with this, I want to share with you my latest work. I have several shows. One's called Miracle Mondays, but this is my latest one, 420 Spiritual Living, and you can find it on my YouTube channel. And it is important because we talk about how plant medicine can raise your consciousness, how you can step into higher dimensional beings. You can meet them. You can step into that consciousness of 700, of healing and inspiring the planet. And so that is what I do, guys. And I invite you, number one, to come to my event next week on Friday and learn how we can release any of those fears that we have, because, of course, all of you probably had that memory of being burned at the stake. We get to let go of anything that stands in the way of being that truly high dimensional being that we are. And so I invite you to join me. I'm Joan of Angels. You can find me at my website, joanofangels.com. You can, there it is. Calling all angels. Your mission is waiting. It is time for you to be activated so you can step into the highest vibratory frequencies. So that why? So that we can turn around and start raising the field around us. All right. And that's what I have to say to you today. I'm just so excited that I had a chance to share with all of you. So, any questions? All right. Okay, good. Phew.
Joan, we have many comments, no questions, but a lot of gratitude.
Thank you. You know, last night Yvonne spoke to me. He always speaks to me, and he said the following. He said, there's many speakers who have such, like the one coming up, who have such insight. He said, but your mission, Joan, is you really, I call it fluffing your wings, okay? My job is so personal. I help you personally know your place, what you're here to do, and how you're here to do it. So come and join us and be a part of that. And so it is. Now, I have 2 more minutes. I'm a little bit ahead of time. Who knew that I'd speak so fast? So if there's any more questions, I will take it. And otherwise, thank you so very much. And also, I do want to ask you to sign up on my YouTube channel. If you haven't, my 420s, it's on 420 Spiritual Living is the name of the show. It's on my Joan of Angels channel. Please like and share it and subscribe it. I really can't, I want it like bigger. Last night, many of you did sign up. I hopped up over the 200 line. Now I want to get over 300. So thank you very, very much.